Pardon the interruption. I'm Adrian Woodring here with Lev Suker and Edward Franklin. And today's topic, we're going to be talking about way too early NBA season predictions. Lev, I'll give it to you first.
All right, so I'm going to talk about the two teams that will be the final two teams remaining in the Western Conference. So in the Western Conference Finals, one of them will still be the Denver Nuggets. I don't think they're going anywhere. They still have Nikola Jokic, who, in my opinion, is the best player in the world right now. Jamal Murray is one of the best point guards in the league and is so underrated and could lead a team if need be, in my opinion. And Aaron Gordon is a really good role player. Contavious Caldwell-Pope is really good, and they're bringing almost everyone back. The only person who is not on a deal right now is Bruce Brown. And while he was vital, he is not needed. So the Nuggets are in a really good place for next year and could run it back. The next team I'd go with to stay in the West and to play them in the Western Conference Finals is not the Phoenix Suns. I don't think the Suns are going to be that good.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see the Los Angeles Clippers, especially if they get a little Chris Paul in there. They have Kawhi Leonard, they have Paul George, and Kawhi's supposed to be hurt for the first part of the year. But when he comes back, you know he shines in the playoffs. And Paul George, playoff P, it's never been great, but I think we're going to see him go back to the Oklahoma City days next year. I think we're going to see a little resurgence of Paul George, and they have what they need. The Clippers have been just mediocre in the playoffs for the last 10 years, but they are the only franchise to be over 500 every single year for the last 10 seasons, and I think this year might be the year they get over the hump.
All right, I'm just going to stop this for a second. I think the Clippers is an absurd thing to say. I don't think they aren't a good team. You already said Kawhi's going to be hurt for the first year. Who's his backup?
They have Paul George.
But who's taking that other superstar spot? They don't have another one.
Nobody.
And they don't have Chris Paul yet. So to say Chris Paul is in there is unfair to say. Now, I agree with the Denver Nuggets take. I think Jokic is good, obviously. Jamal Murray is an underrated player. I think the KCP take is amazing. I think he's a great player and just doesn't get enough respect. But we're going to go back to the Eastern Conference predictions.
All right, for the Eastern Conference, I have probably the Bucks after losing in 5 to Miami. I do think they'll have a bounce back from that if they need to, and they should. And as second team, I do think it will be Boston because I just feel like they have the depth and their bench is very good or okay. So, yeah, that's what I think.
I'm excited to see how Milwaukee bounces back with this coaching situation. Obviously, they still have Budenholzer in the air, but I think Chris Middleton's getting way too much money in free agency. I'd like to see how they do bounce back from this first-round exit this year. But now we're going to the awards predictions. So, MVP take.
First off, I would like to say the Bucks are not in a good place at all right now. And I think the Celtics are overrated. But I will go for the awards. For the MVP next season, I'm going to go with a bit of a sleeper pick that I don't see people talking about this man. But I think he is going to have an absolute insane year. I think he is going to carry his team to the postseason and have one of the better years we've seen in a while. I'm going to go with Damian Lillard. I think he stays in Portland, and I think we're seeing a Damian Lillard resurgence. He averaged 33 points a game last season, and he's still elite. He is a top 2 point guard in the NBA behind Stephen Curry, and I think when Dame is on, he is a top 10, arguably close to top 5 player in the NBA, and Damian Lillard is going to win MVP.
I think that's a great take, especially if they pick up Brandon Miller in this draft. I think Brandon Miller, Anthony, and Dame would just create a nice big three. Obviously, they have a good bench with Nasir Little coming off there. They've lost depth with C.J. McCollum, but, bringing in Brandon Miller, Damian back would be just amazing. I think that's a great take. Edward?
My MVP prediction, I would say, I think he started off the season very well. Actually, I don't know if it's beginning of the season, but I'm going to say Luka Doncic, especially if he gets this team in the playoffs this year, or at least the play-in, because he was having almost triple-double numbers last year, and it just seemed like some games he was going crazy, and yeah, I think he can pass, rebound, and score.
All right, I'm going to take the obvious one there. I'm going to go Nikola Jokic. He really doesn't have a weakness to his game, and I think on that note, we're going to end it up. This is Sports Broadcasting Camp. Pardon the interruption. Thank you.